Good morning. It is Saturday, the 10th of August, 2019, and Bitcoin has just dropped out of our ascending wedge triangle. So let's jump in and see what our indicators are telling us on today's episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. And let me know if that music is working for you. I don't hear it. And we'll take a look at the disclaimer. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. Now, let's see, where are we going to jump into here? I am semi-unprepared, but the charts are all still open from yesterday. Here we go. Let me now update the chat. Good morning. And I'm going to now share this on our Discord chat. And if you're not a member of our Discord chat, come over and join us so we talk about Bitcoin prices as it's happening, not just during the videos. Let's see now. Live now, everybody. I suppose it's supposed to say everyone. Anyway, we're live. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Really sharply pulled back here just in the last few minutes. This is the 1 minute chart. So we got, 10 minutes ago, this quick drop happened and now we're consolidating a bit. And who knows what's going to come next. That's why we're going to dig into our indicators to see what they're telling us. One bit of a surprise for me though was to go into the Bitcoin dominance chart and see how it has picked up. So let me know where in the world you are from. It's 7 o'clock in the morning here, Saturday morning. And Bitcoin dominance has spiked up. Bitcoin prices have slipped out of this ascending wedge triangle. Let's go to a larger time frame here so we can see where I was expecting just this morning that this was building and that it would be blasting off, continuing on higher. Now, does this ruin the uptrend? Not at all. It's just a little blip right now so far, and it could certainly consolidate and continue on. We could have some sideways chop for a long time here now. Could be some really extended sideways chop, which might be good for the altcoins, but I wasn't expecting to see Bitcoin dominance take that chop up like that. Is this because of panic and this is going to turn around? We'll have to see how this plays out. Now let's jump into the first of our charts. Let me see if I've got this good. So in the weekly, we've got our 3 reversal wicks back again. As that pullback happened, that just exposed that wick. How long do we have this weekly candle close? It can't be long. It's Saturday. And we can also see that the relative strength index actually was reaching above 70 in our episode yesterday. I did that extra live stream and we were just squeaking above 70. So a really significant pullback. And it's amazing how much this candle, we call it, changes throughout the week as the prices are going. So now, now what I wanted to point out here is it is no longer holding itself. Yesterday it was holding itself and it was up a little bit. Now it's lost that edge. And we don't see that anywhere good, that when it loses an edge on the weekly, nowhere good that losing an edge on the weekly is bullish at all. So losing this edge right here, especially since we lost it earlier and now we're losing it again, that is going to match up with our 3 highs. Let's go see the price compared to this. The price is recovering a little bit. We can go back and forth between this chart on the 1 minute view. So we'll flip back in on this to see if this is a trap and it's going to be blasting off higher or not. And then we'll continue on digging in through our indicator set here. So let me know where in the world you guys are from. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. Get this video out there. Help me grow the channel. I appreciate your support and help. Let me go into the 1 year view now and zoom in on this. This is great because we are observing this divergence here for a while. and then looking in close on this edge for bullish tendencies. But in the long term, in the one daily view, that's a pretty clear divergence that we didn't have in the RSI all the way along here. So we may be seeing more pullback. Let's go into the 12-hour view. And again, across the top yesterday, we were observing this RSI divergence. And then zooming in on the close range, trying to find the bullish aspect to it. And here again, and I recall saying that yesterday about the Ichimoku cloud, that I was looking for bullish indicators in it, and it wasn't giving me the view I wanted, so I was saying maybe I shouldn't use that indicator. So doing this stream over and over again, and then reviewing what my own comments were against the chart patterns, is enormously instructional, because it's uncovering things that you might not reveal if you're not studying it over and over and over against the same structure in the background. So really good to see that 1 hour and the 12-hour divergences in the RSI are that powerful, that they are overriding what I was trying to see here as positive moves in the RSI. Really watching closely for any kind of upticks here in the RSI, a trend in the RSI, anything that could support that. I'll go back and rewatch those videos myself, especially through this period here. 1 hour time frame. Zoom in now, and we are on the 1 hour. 15-minute time frame. RSI, it is giving us, on the stages all the way up, it was giving us this stage and break. So here we're seeing it in the small time frame where it's losing steam. I'm going to go back out to the hourly time frame, clear that off. And every time we came to a consolidation and bounced up, it must have been through this stage here that I was noticing. Every time we had this pullback, then it sprung up. We had the divergence here, more so through this one where it was flat on the top and we had the divergence. And as that divergence broke, prices sprung up. It went flat across here. We had the divergence. As that divergence broke, prices sprung up. So then I'm watching for this, but I'm not watching for it properly the other direction. And there it is. As it's broken here, prices eased off. As it broke here, prices plummeted back. So the RSI breaking on the 1 hour time frame is really good stuff too. Now we'll continue watching because it's broken so significantly. It's a whole new game now. Everything has to be reevaluated all the way across here. Where is the support and resistance that it's hitting? It's already broken below these 1, 2, 3 top formations now. So we've got a larger 1, 2, 3 top shaping up, and it would give us more sell signals below this level, especially if it pulls up a little bit and gives us another RSI break. Very good. Hello from Taiwan. Good to have you here, David Lee. Crypto Kerbit, thanks again for showing up. Thanks for what you do here, Doug. I appreciate you guys being here. This is helping me with my own studies, and it definitely has improved how I'm focusing on my own trades in this area. It's made a big difference for me, so hopefully it's helping you as well. Now let's dig into the other indicators and sweep through them. Oh, those 3 reversal wicks are big again. And I'm still seeing stronger volume on this edge up, so that's not bearish. This is not bearish. We've got a little bit less volume on this side, but it's still, from yesterday, it's still looking pretty good on the 1 year time frame. The 12-hour time frame we were watching, and so to have us watch it and then have it unfold is also really instructional. To see the divergence in the on balance volume, where it's just not as strong of buying on that second top, didn't get as strong, not as strong of buying in the second edge here. This really is turning out to be helpful. This isn't the most predictive indicator in the shorter term, but as the longer term stuff, those big changes really stand out and they are making a difference. So here yesterday I was avoiding or denying, or what do you call it? When you're in denial, you see it, but you don't acknowledge it. Maybe I did. But there's a strong divergence here where we've come across the selling in the other half of this pointed triangle. So this morning, while I'm looking at the chart saying, wow, it's going to take off, I probably wasn't looking at this. 4-hour time frame, 1-hour time frame. So, okay, and this is how I rationalized it yesterday, I recall. Because as I was looking at that 4-hour, this looks bad. And then when you go into the 1-hour, it doesn't look as bad because I rationalized these 3 peaks were strong enough to not make this weaker buying significant. Difficult one on this one. It's stronger on the 4-hour time frame, and that's just something to reflect on, that once we start getting into the close time frame, it's a little different here. Not as clear, but obvious in hindsight now that there is just not as strong of buying. Strong, less strong, less strong, more selling. And then when it breaks, everybody changes sides and jumps in. So if you got a whole bunch of people who are long, let's go back to this chart. We got a whole bunch of people who are long. I'm going to take this one to a 4-hour time frame. This is on a 4-hour time frame now. Zoom it back. Zoom this back, and we can see the timing. Get them to match up here. So we have May and May setting up here together. June the 23rd here, July the 10th here, and now August the 10th. We can see that we are at a record high or high numbers of long positions. High numbers of long positions, higher numbers of long positions here than we had in July 10th. And what that means is there's a whole bunch of people that are long in the market with a leveraged position. And when they're proven wrong, there are 2 factors in the market that are working now. First of all, the people who are selling short, they're correct. So they're gaining profit. But the people who were buying long, they now have to sell out of that position at a loss. And so there's 2 forces into that selling force now. And the more longs we get, the easier it is for that force to get on the side of the negative at the same time. So once they are wrong, it is double wrong. You see what I mean? There's extra momentum added to the price direction when it breaks out of a big pattern like this. It's one of the reasons you get the huge move is the group of people who are right are adding on to their trade, and the group of people who are wrong are having to reverse their trade and get out of it. So it's double the pressure on the market right as these things break. And now with all the automated bots and everything, it's just so different in the trading. The closer tight ranges just get chewed up. What is the line of resistance? I think it is on the way down. Right now we've broken the resistance, and we're gathering for more down. So what I'm looking for now is a bear flag in this. If I expand this out, and I'm not really seeing a good strong bear flag yet. Usually a bear flag would be angled. This is almost a flat range here. And so it may come up and retest levels and come back down. Now we'll zoom in on this and we'll continue to watch it. I'll do more through the day to continue to unfold this. But right now, we went through the RSI and zoomed in on that. It's got to, stay within this range, and it really went to oversold pretty fast here. And the way we're going through the on balance volume, and we can see where the selling is pretty strong. This is strong selling, the best selling or the strongest selling across this top here, across this whole range. Now let's go into the MACD indicator, because it was the one giving me trouble yesterday. I was wanting to see bull, 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 and this one was holding back. It wasn't quite doing it. Now here on the weekly, it's still looking good, actually. And the criteria is this pattern that we were watched before. So that as the MACD comes back but doesn't cross, comes back and doesn't cross, and the histograms stay positive, while that was happening, we had the prices pull back and then up on the uptrend, pull back and then up on the uptrend. So long as that didn't cross, everything was all good for that. Now we're into a similar circumstance where we can see the histogram is pulled back from yesterday, but not negative yet, not as low as it was. Good to have you here from Belgium. Johan? There we go. Now I finally got it. Now, histogram's pulling back. This is not crossing. They're still pulling out a little bit. So we'll watch this one over the next couple days couple days as this closes for the weekly candle. Now the daily candle. And this is where I've been watching closely for something that is similar. Now we're watching more closely because this is what happened when the MACD double crossed. It crossed positive and then it crossed negative and the histogram went negative. Let me zoom in on this time. Whoa. And there we can see it crossed positive. It really blasted up in the prices and then it crossed negative. So it really did move up for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks and then topped and came back before that crossed over. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in there. 4 weeks, a month. Now what do we have? Wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 that it's pulling back, that it's topped and being pulling back here. Topped and then pulling back. So we did have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of run up. Days. These are days now. Okay. So we had a week and a half of up and now it's easing off for certain, sure, but not crossed. So now as we zoom in on this MACD indicator to see what it's telling us for the 12-hour time frame, it has already crossed. Did it cross yesterday? I have to go back and look. I remember looking closely at the 4-hour and the 1 hour because they were supposed to be giving us positive signals and they were hesitating on it. So if I go into the 4-hour, it didn't ever go positive. So it was always this crossover, always stayed negative histogram. Always. Right from, we were talking about this, the 1, 2, 3 formation, 1, 2, 3 formation, and then it's breaking down below it now. But we were already told that it was going to be breaking back on the 4-hour MACD crossover. So all of this wondering back and forth, it was just like the answer is already there and we're in denial about it and we're looking other places for the real answer. But there's the answer right there on that 4-hour crossover of the MACD. I've come to really, really like this indicator. I'm not so sure about what comes next, the Ichimoku cloud, and we've got 3 indicators now that may replace the Ichimoku cloud, and I'd like your input either in the chat right now or in the comments down below. Let me know what indicator you would like to see in this stream that we go over every single day, something that you think is a predictive indicator that would be a better replacement for the Ichimoku cloud. Now, let's continue zooming in on this. Done my rant on that. Now, in the 1-hour time frame, I was seeing positive, 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 it's going to go. And then I had to pull myself back to the chart and say, oh yes, but there is also negative, negative, negative setting up here. And that it's crossing to the negative, and then it's crossing to the negative lower, and then crossing to the negative lower again. So it was my own personal bias, and I caught it yesterday, that I was looking at this going, oh, it's going bullish. And I had to go back and make myself acknowledge this is bearish setting up right here. So those kind of biases in the way you think the market's going to go are important to filter out. I find myself day after day finding those biases and cleaning some of them up. It's good. So High Low Jack says, Bitcoin proof of work is a failed design, if inefficient and slow. Yeah, it is, and it's okay. I don't mind about that, High Low Jack. I think that'll change in time, and Bitcoin will slide from the dominance because it uses too much energy. There are better, faster, stronger coins out there. They just don't have the news and the notoriety. And so, MySpace, back in the old computer, there was Friendster long before there was Facebook. Then MySpace came out, and then Facebook came out, and, there was a progression of all these social media sites until the one took over. There are better, stronger, faster than Bitcoin. As we get educated, things will come up. So Bart Coleman says, The cloud seems pretty accurate as an indicator. Oh, why would I want to change from it? Because it's not much of a predictive indicator. And a gambling casino high-low jack is depending on how you trade it. If you know our risk control rules and you use them, it's not as much gambling. If you have an actual plan and you can do the statistical analysis on when that plan works and when it doesn't, it's not so much gambling. If you come in and you roll and you say, I think it's going up, I'm going to buy. That's gambling. You have to have a specific set of criteria, and it's like a rainbow from the very beginning of a trade when you're planning it all the way over to the end of the trade when you're closing it. There are all sorts of options of, you know, those books that you read that says, what would you do next? If you want the character to do this, change to page 142. If you want to do this, go to page 42 or whatever. You know, every single stage throughout the trade, there's all these options. And you need to know what all the options are for every different stage of the trade so that when that stage comes up and you have these 5 options to choose from, you immediately choose it because you've practiced it in your mind. First of all, course, all things are created in your mind first, and then you practice them for real. So then it's not gambling, high-low jack. XRP is a genius design, but I don't care. I'm not actually in here for the design, and I'm not here for the cryptocurrency. I'm here for the 1, 2, 3 tops and bottom formations so that I can profit from it. Other than that, it's okay. Now, I'm off track and lost where I am. 1 hour time frame on the, so the 4 hour really is it's the man. It's the, I guess that's sexist, but it's the one. It's the alpha. We can say that. It's not. Okay, now onto the Ichimoku cloud. So the Ichimoku is great for trend following, and it really helps along with something like, where is my spreadsheet? It really helps along a trading system that is patient enough to trade on the 12-hour bar time frame. So this trading method, the simple trading plan that you can get as a free download from the website, go to the website, put your email address in, intro-to-cryptos.ca, and download this free trading plan. And this is what the trading plan is telling us over time. So we can see back in February that it was a really sort of neutral market. As February came along to mid-February, we see a bunch of coins were starting to get into buy signals. And the Ichimoku cloud would have told us right in this range that these were all taking off. It would have told us that. It really agrees well with the trading system that I use. But it is very long term, and I'm not finding it that it's helping us with predictive like the MACD is. So if I go back to that 4 hour MACD, where are we? 1 hour, 4 hour MACD, you see this crossover long before the price pattern actually pulled out. And over again, this MACD is showing that it's how many days ahead of us and showing us all the way along what's going on in the market. But I'm not finding that for the Ichimoku cloud. I'm finding it confirms, but it's not a leading predictive indicator. So that's why I'm asking for more of those inputs. And I will go over the consensus algorithm there, Deg Lado. Thank you. I appreciate that. Have I tried RVGI? I've never heard of it. I never heard of that one, but I appreciate you bringing it up. I will definitely check it out. Why alts holding better now? Well, we'll get into checking out the alts in the other live stream. I'll go through everything on BitMEX, so we'll jump into ADA and look at these things reversing right now. That's going to be a good stream. But right now, Bitcoin, let's go through. I'm sorry. 1 day view of Bitcoin. Now it's into the cloud. We haven't crossed negative. We do have a negative. You see how the trade was already, like, this is a big move in the trade. But at this time frame, this isn't showing anything. It's saying to hold, actually, I think. And now we've got a twist to the positive. We're still above the cloud. It's not saying to get out of this trade yet. And it may be true in the long term. So this is the trouble, is that I don't want to kick out an indicator that's actually telling me something that's true, and I disagree with it because I'm wrong. And then later I find out, oh, okay, the indicator is actually much better than my own ideas. This is why I'm studying this one for such a long time and asking for other indicators that may give us better leading notice. Because here, okay, let's go into the 4 hour before I say that. Oops. So what I'm thinking is, did the 4 hour give us a leading advanced warning that this dump was coming across this top? No way. It's just starting to cross now, and it's still above the cloud. So maybe this is right, and this is a buy signal in an uptrend. If it bounces off from here and goes up, and this crosses back positive, then the Ichimoku cloud is like golden, that it's told us to stay in this trade. This is a buy signal in an uptrend. Don't freak out by this little pullback. But we don't know right now. On the 1 hour time frame, it's not saying quite the same thing. This is definitely a sell signal in the 1 hour time frame as it broke through here. But it's so choppy through and back that that doesn't help really. It's like the 1 hour exponential moving average crosses over so much that it's not much of a help actually. Now let's go. Say why you say all these things when we all got wrecked and not before the dump? Because I actually don't have a crystal ball and I really don't know what's coming next. And so the only way to be able to trade this kind of systematic way is to put on 1/3 of your trade right here. And if it proves you correct, then you're going to be watching for a place to put on the rest of your trade. You're going to let it consolidate. And as it breaks another consolidation across at a key area, then you're going to put on the rest of your trade. And you're already protected by this little bit of a trade here. So it protects you from it whipping back up against you. So always start off small and add on when you're correct. These risk control rules are far more important than your trading plan. I could flip a coin. I have a gold coin right here, purchased with Bitcoin some time ago. Flip that coin. It is heads. I go long. And if it proves me right, I add on to it. If it doesn't prove me right in 30 minutes, I close the trade and I don't add on to it. Let me, an hour later, flip the coin. Tails, I go short. If it proves me right, I add on to it. If it doesn't prove me right in 30 minutes, I close the trade. You've got a perfect trading system. Repeat that over time, and statistically, you will probably win out. So let's go on. Hello from Corona, California. Beautiful area of the world. I want to tour through there on a motorcycle. Easy to say things afterhand. Yes, indeed. So make sure you have a plan all written out ahead of time, Alal, so that you know what your options are as you come up to every different stage of the trade. Many people get into trading and then they go learn how to trade. It's like getting into an airplane and trying to fly and then say, shit, I should have gone to pilot school and learned how to land the plane before I took off. Damn it, that was dumb. Well, you only get one chance to make that mistake. And trading is as dangerous. You will lose money if you don't practice landing your plane before you take off. So practice the entire trading plan. Write it down. Otherwise, you will get wrecked. I've been there, done that. Lost all my money more than once. All right. Now let's continue. Let's go back to Bitcoin prices. That's not it. This is our crypto trades signals beta blog. There is a link down below where you can go and watch along with us as our pro spreadsheet is. I'm updating it as I put in an alert. It will be published here, and then the spreadsheet takes over and it watches the target for profits and the stop loss for losses, and it will send out another alert when the so I put out the alert, bang, it's out, it's saying be alert, it's going to go. When the price goes above the target entry, we get this publication. After that, as the price hits our stop or our target, we get another publication automatically from the spreadsheet. So we're testing it out right now with everything on Binance, BitMEX, and Poloniex, and they're all here for free for right now. If you're interested in this, you want to follow along, come and join us on Discord, or sign up and get more details. There's a lot more good stuff going on there. End of plug. Let's go into Bitcoin. Well, now, if we go into the 1 minute view, our indicators should be telling us what is coming up with this. we should be able to zoom in to the crazy, insane close view. And now we're seeing a divergence in the RSI. It really dipped down to majorly oversold. And now it's bounced up. So there's two things. We've got a divergence and a trend line in the RSI. And the divergence is bullish, but a break of that trend line would be really bearish from right now. Because this is giving us a 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. You know, see it bouncing around inside this range, making a tiny little 1, 2, 3 on the 1 minute bars. A break above this is actually a buy signal for those swing traders who are crazy about grabbing knives, catching knives. 1 minute bar on, so this was a lot of selling. We don't have the buying picking up after this to have absorbed everything properly yet. And I've got that conspiracy theory that now the futures traders are trying to sell this short so that they can get the price down and buy the real coin and put them into a cold storage. Let's go to our 1 minute bar. So it crossed over to the positive. We got another cross to the positive as we're setting up here. So those are two positive indicators from this. It certainly could come up and retest from below now. Let's zoom out to this other chart. If I go to the 5-minute view, 30-minute view, now we have a couple different areas for this to come up and retest underneath to confirm a sell signal. So we already have one sell signal. Let me grab this, make it an arrow. We already had one sell signal on the break. We would also have another sell signal on a touch and a break of this line. So if prices are coming back up and they're touching this line, it'll be a sell signal on that break. You see the little 1, 2, 3 top formation there? Inside that, as it comes up to retest it, that'll give us another sell signal. And then we'll get yet another sell signal here on that break. And that's how you'd layer in your position. So if you were going short on this, ideally, you know, like it's always easy to do this afterwards and easy to predict it. But if you don't plan this out and know it and then be patient enough to let it happen, then it's impossible. You got to practice this ahead of time. So on a formation like this, I'm going to be timid. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of whipsaw. I'm going to put on 20% of my entire trade. I got $100 to trade. I'm going to go to short with 20 of it right there. I'm going to sit right now. I'm not going to do anything more. I'm not going to add on to it until I'm going to make it come back up and give me a consolidation. Then I'm going to add 20 more, maybe $40 onto this trade. And I'm going to get out if it goes up above these levels. I already know where I'm exiting, where am I entering. And if it comes down and breaks below these levels, I'm putting on the rest of my $100 trade because I've already got a bit of profit to protect me if it starts to wildly go up from here. And then I'm just watching and trailing down with all my stops. Maybe this first entry, I would wait until prices came down to the 50% level and made a 1, 2, 3 reversing going the other direction. Then I would close my short trade right in here. So the first of the trades might have been closed on any kind of retrace. They might have been closed, these two. And this first trade, I'm going to hold it until the last to get the most, try to squeeze the most out of it. So if it does come up here and continue down, I want to squeeze the most out of it. I might have already closed my second two trades, but the first trade, I'm going to try to squeeze more out of it. So, and now we're going to do the same thing, but in the altcoins, and we'll do it upside down or right side up. BitMEX. Darn. I don't know why this does that. I have to reload it to make it bring up BitMEX rather. So BitMEX, now we have the little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 1 hour time frame. We could put on, where's my arrow? We could put on just a little bit of that trade because we are in a downtrend. It would be dangerous. Then we're going to wait for it to do something for us. Consolidate and give me another place to add on to that trade right there. Then I'm good. And I may even wait for it to come up and consolidate above these levels and have a third level of adding on to that trade, not thinking of taking profit on my first or my second trades. I'm trying to get into this on the trend. We know that these girls I'll say they're girls. They trend. Once they start going in a direction, they trend. So once we can get into something, we can start adding and know that when the trend ends, we're going to see a 1, 2, 3 top formation or a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and it's going to break out of the trend. So as these are establishing, we have to assume that it's going to be doing a longer term thing and build our position so that we're not taking full risk at the beginning. These are dangerous toys to play with. Now let me go. The bots are in the live stream. Let's see. UK tax authority is working out a detailed plan for taxing thin air so they don't miss. Of course, they're going to tax anything that moves. And that's why the anonymous coins are going to be regulated. I may be wrong, but I think they are going to be outlawed, regulated. That way we can have a group of cryptocurrencies that are good cryptocurrencies, and we have those that are bad cryptocurrencies because they money laundering, criminals, all those keywords that they use. But I think the privacy coins will get hammered. And when they do, then all of the other coins are legitimate new business model ways of valuing businesses. And we are going to get our 12 to 18 month bull run in the altcoins. And that bull run in the altcoins, I made a mess of this and it's not as easy to clean up. That bull run in the altcoins is going to end December 2020. Do you know why it's going to top out December 2020? Borgilsky. This is, you need to know. Because if the UK tax authority is working out detailed plan, all of this is built into the tax time. You know it, Anthony. You got it. Tax time. So the prices go right up to the very top in December of 2020. Be sure to sell out so that you have the money to pay your taxes in March of the next year. Because like we saw in December of 2017, everything all came down. And if you didn't cash out earlier and you had to cash out later, crazy amount of taxes were paid by me anyway. Crazy amount of taxes paid. I didn't profit out properly on that. So everything came down by 50%, and then I had to pay taxes on the old value of it. Really expensive. So watch for that. Yep, every December. And I'm expecting it to go all the way till that 2020, just because we're already so far through this year that when this altcoin bull market does get going, look what's going on here. Bitcoin dominance. Top formation. Zyke Design just subscribed. Awesome. Good to have you along. Thanks for the subscription. That music scared me, startled me. P.S. Sky is from the Discord, easier to say. Hi, good to see you. I believe in those conspiracy theories. They are, sometimes they can be quarrelsome, but I believe them. And I believe that there are people actually intentionally doing it, and they are following the same strategies that you can learn in the book Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. None of this stuff is new. People were very smart in the 1920s and 25 and 1930s, and when they found ways to manipulate the markets, they got really good at it. And it was before the regulators had any control of it, before the Security and Exchange Commission was invented, and all those laws were enacted and put around the world, because people were really manipulating the markets and ripping people off and doing it quite intentionally. Now people don't do it quite the same way. They have bots that do it, and they can say, well, we don't know. It's artificial intelligence. We just let it run. It learns how to trade and it does its own thing. And so you're not culpable now. You can't go to jail for manipulating the market. It's just a computer algorithm. So I think it's even worse because of that. Yeah, people will manipulate anything they can for profit. It's the human mind is creative. It's always thinking of advantage and how to move. Let's zoom in again. So I think this is all coming down. And now, and yesterday, like earlier today, like give me an hour ago, I was long. I was expecting it to be going up. So I closed my long position for sure. And now I'm watching for the alts to be coming out of these bottom formations to confirm that this is taking off. And it's not just a whipsaw to get everybody on both sides of the channel, which we've seen over and over again, but this isn't looking so much like a whipsaw now. Wow. Looks like it's coming down from here. And it may take, like I say, it may consolidate a bit before it comes down. If I go back to that chart that I scribbled up on. This one is the most clear plan to me. I'm having trouble with that. It's the most clear plan to me right now with what Bitcoin is doing. And that doesn't bring us down very far. Actually, it brings us down to emergency levels. If we get down to these levels, that's really emergency levels. And let's go out to the daily view. Is there a way I can clear this off in one button? Let me just clear all this stuff off. I want to go out to the daily view. I want to zoom back and I want to go through the logarithmic view of the charts so that we can see how important that $9,500 level is. I apologize for putting you through this. Click, click. Why do you miss? Click. Daily chart. 1 day. Logarithmic view. 9,500. Get rid of that blood from the earliest parts. Grab a trend line all the way along. So 9,500 doesn't become as much of a danger until prices are quite a bit over. We got a long ways sideways before 9,500 becomes a real danger, actually. But in the logarithmic view, I wonder, does the logarithmic view of Bitcoin price on the weekly give us a change in the indicator set as well? No, the indicator stays the same. So I thought that log would give us an change in indicator view. Oh, but this moving average crossover on the weekly it's insanely bullish. We have a crossover of the exponential moving average here on the daily. It hasn't crossed over yet on the daily as we come to this top formation in the logarithmic view. Go to the daily view, log view. Oh, I see. Log, not log. Still got a long ways to go for this top formation to fill out before that 1 day exponential moving average crosses over. 12-hour exponential moving average is still positive. So all of this stuff is still a hold for my main trading plan. And I wouldn't be jumping in and out of those. If I zoom into the 4-hour time frame, this is still positive. So it has a little bit of work to do to kick us out of this trade for our really long-term hold. That's still looking positive. There we go. Now I've got it fixed. So Tom, Litecoin is almost at the 200 EMA. Let's go take a look at that. Alts are moving a little. Yes, indeed. I finally realized the market movers and manipulators are internationally and brutally shaking as much BTC as the weak hands. Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you, if you're trading on the 15-minute time frame, you are whale food. If you're stepping out to this 4-hour time frame and you're making decisions based on this, then you would be buying here and you'd be doing nothing during this dip. Nothing yet during this dip. You'd be waiting until it came back to the $10,700 level probably before that exponential moving average crosses over. So none of this whip, none of this stuff that is killing all of these other traders hardly touches you. It is, if you're near the surface of the ocean and it's a big storm, those waves are very powerful. If you are down 10 meters, those waves are, you may not even feel them at all. If you're down 30 meters, you don't feel those waves at all. All this stuff is happening way above you, completely peaceful down in your trading position. So zoom out to those longer term time frames for your big trades. This is the nitro button when these are crossing over. Put it on and step back because it's dangerous. So if you're up too close to it. Now the 4-hour EMA, will watch for this to cross over. It is dumping. I think we're coming down significantly further. And if we just grab a quick Fibonacci on the recent range from there to there, easy to come back to the $10,700 level. Easy to come back to the $10,300 level. And those are normal moves in the uptrend. Not even a worry. See, and this is where when you get too close in on those time frames, then you are worried about this kind of move. It is important. And if you're up 25 times leverage on this, this is a real spanking. If you're putting on too large of a position. It's okay to have 25 times leverage on a very small position, so long as you can add on to that and get out later. Hilo Jack, how can institutions recommend a product that investors of the president called thin air? Yeah, it's okay. Who said? Anyway, the president of the United States. Now we are still in the parabolic curve upward. We are still in this parabolic curve upward. Not a worry. Whoops, wrong button. That was a nice drawing. Not a worry. This is the button I wanted so I could drag the chart over. Clear that. We're all good here. So if I change the color of this line so I can scribble differently, we're all good for it to come back to that $10,300 level and give us a run back up. Is it going to do that? I don't know, of course. But I love drawing out the potentials and then watching what the indicators are going to do and planning out what my trading plan would do for this. How would I stage into this? Where would my biggest part of my trade go as I'm staging into this? Actually, I want a screenshot of this one. I'll put this in our Discord so that we can see it later. 10th of August. So that would take us to, that's only the next 2 weeks for this to pull back and do this run up again. Cool. Yes, I believe that everybody is everybody is recommending Bitcoin to their investors, and soon they'll be recommending Litecoin to their investors as well, because Bitcoin will be overpriced, out of priced for the normal fella. And all of these digital currencies are asset classes that can't be replaced. They can't be repeated. They can't be faked. It's as good as gold for supply limitation. And since all of the other money methods around the world are all based on paper, not tied to the gold standard, there's going to be a massive reset in all of the world's money, and cryptocurrencies are going to benefit unbelievably. So is gold and silver, because the rest of it isn't real. If you have a chance, let me see, where's my, I gotta grab this book. Where is this book now? We have It's a rather thick book. Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. Go and Google it. Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. It was published in 1834, I think. And so it has all sorts of historical examples of people getting excited about craziness. One of them was tulip mania. Of course, you've read about or have heard about. Read more detail in that book. It really explains it. And it was very shortly after tulip mania actually happened. So it's a really good account. Another thing they talk about is when France took their country off of the gold standard back in the 1700s. And for 20 or 30 years, the country absolutely flourished because the value of their paper money went up and up and up and up, but it was based on nothing. And wouldn't you know it, everybody from surrounding countries bought up all of the wealth from France. And as their paper money devalued, they didn't have any gold in the country. They didn't have any paintings. They didn't have nothing of any actual value and worth was left in the country. Everybody from other countries that used real money, they bought it. And so France really got wrecked by going off the gold standard with their currency. Now, we did that, or the US did that back in 1970-ish with Richard Nixon. 70, 80, 90. So here we are 50 years later, and we are at insane debt. The dollar is completely devalued from what it was back in the 1970s. And gold prices haven't gone up as much as, so where, I always bring this up, I'll do it again here. All of the world's money markets in one visualization. You've probably seen me show this before. You can search for it, all of the world's money and markets in one visualization. And it's a little old. I think the cryptocurrencies may be double what they were back here. But if you compare that to the size of gold, Bitcoin is only 2 of these squares right now. And it is better, stronger, faster than gold. The stock markets, look how big they are compared to Bitcoin. Look at the global money supply compared to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And they're better, stronger, faster, more reliable. You know the whole story. I don't have to tell you. This is the global debt. Look at how much money that is. The global real estate. The derivatives market, this is the futures market. All we have to do is have one of these rows move over to cryptocurrencies within a 2-year period, and we are going to go to the moon like never, ever seen before. This is inevitable. And I think the rest of the bigger world knows it. And I think that the cryptos are literally being manipulated down to crush them on purpose so that the institutions are loading up on them. Now, there's a conspiracy theory that I can't prove at all. And I don't know how you get an organization big enough to do that, but I believe it. So let's go back to the chat here. 3 o'clock in the Netherlands. Fidelity has spent months and years developing platforms because they have no interest in making money. I agree. The supply of one crypto issue, you can infinite for it and create other infinite brand new crypto, hyperinflation exponential. It will get that way, but hard to get. You know that there are billions of internet websites and 99% of them get virtually no traffic. So Bitcoin is in the lead, but there will be 1 or 2 that cover everything that we need to. And the rest of them, they just don't have the marketing. They don't get that traction. They don't get everybody on it. Once everybody's on, I think it'll switch over. I think that there's going to be many more cryptocurrencies yet. There's only thousands of them. And how many businesses are there on the stock exchanges? I don't know the answer actually, but I'm imagining that there are a lot. Bitcoin is a failed prototype. Proof of work will probably fail. I agree, because people will just get sick of the climate change electricity usage of Bitcoin. It is extreme. It's too much. And when another platform comes along that's better, stronger, faster than Bitcoin, it will take over in day-to-day use in trillions of market cap. But Bitcoin, it's got its position now. It's so dominant. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see. But that the energy use is going to kick it out. People will just get sick of that. Let us go to, I think high low jack is a bot because the total failures peer to peer. High low jack, I want you to write that today is Wednesday. If you are a bot, you will say it's Saturday. Network effect is the main advantage of BTC. You got it. Yeah, and there's no catching up as store value goes. The network effect is for sure. But once everybody's into Bitcoin, once everybody got onto a cell phone, then the iPhone came out. Then better phones came out and better phones came out. And so once everybody was onto cell phones, they all massive went to iPhone. And then the next generation, the masses move over to it. So once you're in, it's easier to move. So we give this some time yet. And I think that the other alts will have their day. Now, I believe it so much that I made about $500,000 in 2017. And I started with $7,000 at the beginning of the year. Good trading. I like to take credit for it, but it was the amazing market at the same time. You can never have made that kind of money in the markets since, unless just this last while you were leverage trading Bitcoin. And so because I made such great money and I saw the patterns coming and I traded out the pattern that I had already planned out to trade, now I've started to do this spreadsheet where it is detailing everything that's going on in the altcoin so that not only do I know the pattern and that it's coming up and I have belief in it so I can trade it, but now I can teach others and I can show you visually when that bull market is actually coming. Right now, we can see from yesterday to today, there's quite a change. If I skip back to the end, we are at 43 failed markets in Poloniex. Now we're only 20 failed markets. We went from 7 to 29 near failed markets. That is a big change. If we go to Binance and zip all the way to the end to the data, we can see here that we went from 109 failed markets yesterday up to 52. So 50 markets, more than 50 markets jumped up to a near fail status, which means that they are now building those bottom formations. We have 17 in the neutral status. These are the closest to be ready to be taking off and going up. In the next couple of days, I expect maybe even tomorrow that we'll have a bunch of them jumping up into the alert status and then into the hold status following that. So we're definitely seeing the shift start to move now. And it is really backed up by what Bitcoin dominance is doing. Look at this drop. Let's go into the 15-minute view. That always takes a while to load. Look at that. Nice. So we had some panic as Bitcoin first dropped and everybody was panic and selling their alts. Now it's gone the other way. As Bitcoin, the people are getting, hey, something's up here. And if we go over to BitMEX, look at ADA and zoom in on that 5-minute view, you betcha it was actually making a bottom formation and staging before Bitcoin broke. And it hasn't made that much move after Bitcoin broke. All of this was coming in, and we could see it in our indicators in hindsight that through this period, there was dumping coming in Bitcoin. The MACD indicator was saying negative. All of that was happening, but the alts were already ahead of it. Like they're precognizant of the move that is coming. You could say as a conspiracy theorist that it was already pre-planned and the big guys are making their shift overnight last night, getting prepared for what's coming up in the morning. EOS also made a bottom and was coming up before Bitcoin cracked. So that it made this bottom here and doubled and is coming up is going to be really great for the next live stream as I zoom in on the indicators for these ones. And that's the Intro to Crypto's live stream. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here shaping up. Has not taken off. Even though Bitcoin did that big jump, it pretty much stayed still. That's why Bitcoin dominance rose for a bit. Litecoin is doing better. Again, it bottomed here beforehand. So what's that? 12 hours ago. Yesterday at 6 p.m. And what is it now? 8 a.m. So 14 hours ago, that was the bottom. We made, look at this tiny little 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, bigger one, and a larger 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 nested levels of 1, 2, 3s setting up in here. Do you see them? We've got a 1, 2, 3 formation. We've got a 1, 2, 3 formation. And that's a 2 there and a 3. And then the breakout. So can't count this one because it pulled back from it. and made a larger 1, 2, 3. So there's only two nested 1, 2, 3s. We have this 1, 2, 3, then we have this 1, 2, 3 setting up, and we're on the 5-minute time frame. So as this now expands out, we should see that nested 1, 2, 3 build until we're into a safe enough size of it. Test those levels for me, come back, retest these levels for me, and then we're starting to see something that I can trade. That's why I'm waiting for it to turn around enough, this whole downtrend, and start to go the other direction in a really long term. So now we're not really trying to not jump into a wave, but we're waiting for the tide to change direction. And we may not be able to confirm that until it breaks above these levels. So we'll get a larger nested 1, 2, 3, and then a larger nested 1, 2, 3. Now we know we got some stability underneath us, and we can put on our largest part of our trade. Start off small here, add on, sit, and do nothing, and let the market do the work. From here, okay, this isn't going to show us because it doesn't have the data. Look where we are in the historical prices of Litecoin versus Bitcoin. Crazy. I remember in December we had this, that's nice rhyme. In December we had this bottom formation shape up. It was one of our trading signals. We got into it, put our stop loss just above, and the rest is history. It went way, way up. This was a beautiful trade. And here we are setting up at the same historical levels as before. So it is a place to take a risk. It is a place to put on a small bit of your trade here and risk it. Only hold it if it proves you correct. So if you had just purchased right now, you would only hold it if it proved you correct and was continuing to go up. If it didn't prove you correct in the first half hour and it starts to fade back and Bitcoin's doing something, you just reevaluate, close that trade, and start again when it sets up. This is getting close to the time to be ready for it. So let me see. Bear trap. Let me see. We got today is Wednesday. Jack is not a bot. MySpace did get killed by Facebook. It's true. BetaMEX was better than VHS. That's true. We had a BetaMEX when I was a kid, because I'm 54 years old. So back in the 70s and the early 80s, VHS and BetaMEX we had the BetaMEX, and then we had to get a VHS. My folks were always on the top edge of technology like that, even now. So Robbie says this is a bear trap, and I kind of was thinking that earlier, but I don't think so now. So Jack bought all XRP. Good luck. I hope XRP does, but I don't know about the supply of that, so we'll see. Bitcoin is designed to bypass governments. Well, no, nothing can bypass the governments because they have guns and they'll come and put you in jail. So nothing bypasses them. Ripple has 70% of coins in escrow. Yeah, this is the thing about Ripple's supply. That's the thing about Ripple is it's got that weird supply. And even Stellar, I was pretty keen on Stellar there for a while. And then they started coming out with Stellar payments like inflation bonuses. If you're holding Stellar, you get these inflation bonuses, which means that they're increasing the supply. That's what inflation is. They're increasing the supply, and the people are holding it. They're giving them a bonus so that they're not losing money as they increase the supply. They're intentionally increasing the supply that way, similar to the US dollar, I guess, where it's an inflationary currency. So then the only way to keep your value as things are going inflationary is to have more of the money. And you know that it may have cost my mom and dad 10 cents to buy a loaf of bread when they were kids back in the 1940s or whatever. But now it costs $3-4 for a really good loaf of bread. And it's the same, right? The dollar value has gone down that much. That's why you have to pay that much. So one of the reasons that Bitcoin is so good is that it has the limited supply. Litecoin has the limited supply. Even Dogecoin, I think, has a limited supply, a certain number that is fixed on things. So then the price can go up as we're going along. Ripple, I'm not sure, but I'm not looking at the price chart either. Little off topic here. This is the Bitcoin stream, but this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It is breaking the downtrend line. It is breaking out of this parallel trend line. So that, doesn't matter what my opinion is, it matters what the chart is doing. Let's go back to Bitcoin because it just did something. Undo the log view. Clear this off and zoom in to the 1 minute view. Could be that our bear trap is playing out here. It could be. As this unfolds, it could be the bear trap. But as I was saying earlier, I think it's going to be coming back up to touch prior support now and give us another sell signal. So I think I'll wrap it up for this stream. I'm keen to go and do the other stream on the alts because I want to get that data. I want to record this as it's all setting up right now. But we'll watch for this to top out, and if it's making these formations and coming back throughout the day, I'll probably kick on another live stream later in the day. Stellar inflation will be shut down the end of this year. Okay, that's good to know. Government knows names and numbers of people. Well, I think that the more conspiracy theory, and I'm not really out there working with these guys to have any idea that this conspiracy theory is true, but I think that the governments are tracking every single Satoshi in all of the cryptocurrencies, and they have a $1 million dedicated small group of the NSA that is focused on that, gathering all the data that they can about the blockchain of every single coin so that they can track every single address. And then they are going through the Know Your Customer databases from everywhere because they have these computers with the big data. They can just do all this. And they're sorting through to everybody's BTC addresses and putting names to it. Then they have a 3D picture of every transaction and who the names are and where that money is flowing. And it's a beautiful picture. It's the most powerful picture that the government tax collectors have ever had. They love it. The more they see it, the more they want more of it because they can track every transaction that you do and charge you for it. And of course, with their trillions of dollars of debt, they need revenue. And if it's revenue that is a hard, like getting gold from you, it's much better than getting paper money. It's actual measurable stuff that can't be doubled up, Bitcoin will never be stable because it's manipulated by whales, but so is silver, high-low jack. It's okay. Bitcoin dropped 10% in 5 minutes. That's okay. Yeah, it's not a store of value for, gold prices go up and down quite a bit too, and you don't jump out and, well, some people do. They're highly leveraged trading gold. If you are highly leveraged trading, then this stuff is going to kill you. If you are trading with an investor's mindset, let me pick this right chart here, then you got in, that's not even the right chart. BitShares, 3-month view. Then you are buying on the exponential moving average crossover, and you are just sitting and doing nothing. And all of these movements up and down 10% don't even affect you. It's a wave in the ocean way above you. So the way you trade makes it gambling or not. The way you hold it makes it a store of value or not, or a risky asset. The way you hold it. Same with all of the stocks and everything. I love this stream. This was fantastic. I'm happy to have you guys along. Great conversation. I like the stuff High-Low Jack is bringing up because it is controversial, and this is the questions that we're answering right now. We have to go over all edges of it until everybody has got a good picture in their mind of this. And my focus is to make money out of it, to follow these trading formations and make money. The technology is great, how it's changing the world is great, but for me, the real killer app of Bitcoin is that little guys like you and I now can go over to, we can micro trade all sorts of different markets. We don't have to have big money to get into trading stocks. We don't have to have lots of money to start doing what the rich people are doing. And so you can start building the habits of a wealthy person. You can read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book, and start to get these pictures and these ideas in your mind. You can read Money is My Friend, the book, and get better pictures in your mind of how to make money feel good for you so that it's actually a friend that is working on your behalf rather than something that you resent and you're toiling for. Once you have those pictures in your mind, then you can start micro trading Bitcoin, and you can start growing and growing and growing your money. And you find that money doesn't grow on trees. It doesn't. And it doesn't grow by hard work. That is a fallacy. It grows on charts, by ideas, by timing, by strategies. So I think that everybody should be doing this, especially if you have debt. This can be an extra revenue stream for you, done correctly. But like flying a plane, you are not just going to jump into the pilot seat and take off and land successfully unless you go to pilot school and you practice every different dangerous situation and what you're going to do in that danger. How will you handle it if one engine quits? What will you do if I don't know, what all the different emergencies a pilot will come up against. But you have to know all of the emergencies a trader will come up against. And if you don't know those dangers, you will get wrecked. We've all seen those videos on YouTube of people who are lucky to be alive, where some guy's standing on a train platform and a high-speed train goes by him, and it is so close, it is millimeters from hitting him. And because he didn't understand the danger of standing where he was standing, right? And he almost got killed. I'm certain that there are people who have been killed that way, sucked into the airflow of that high-speed train as it goes by, because they didn't know the danger of where they were standing. So trading is that way. It's super dangerous, way more dangerous than driving a car. If you make a mistake while you're driving a car, people will swerve around you to protect you from the mistake, from your own mistake. But in trading, if you do that, people are smashing into you because they want to take your money. If you make a mistake, they're right there to swoop it up. Now, throughout the day, we'll watch to see if this pulls back up and touches those levels for our support and resistance. A little bit too zoomed out. And I will run another live stream. If we come up here and bounce and start to fail back and we're dropping below this, then I'm going to want to reevaluate all of the indicators and to record that again for my own studies so that I can come back 6 months from now and rewatch that one. But also, I'm making case studies for the courses that I teach over on introdocryptos.ca. So all of this is just backup for the trading plan and evidence, another piece of evidence of when these exponential moving averages cross over out of a 1, 2, 3 top formation. This is the action to take. Anyway, Bitcoin is a great day trading platform, not a long-term investment. Oh, I'm terrible at day trading, I must say. I always FOMO in, FOMO out. If I take smaller positions, longer time frame, I do much better in my trading. I review it every day. I study it every day. And I love doing these videos, but I don't trade day trading. I get wrecked for myself. That'll wrap it up for today. This is supposed to be a 10-minute long stream every day, but I think I went over. Hour and 12 minutes. Awesome to have everybody along. Thank you again. If you haven't subscribed, please do hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate everybody being here. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin prices. Bitcoin prices. And I'll end here. Thanks again. Cheers, guys. We'll see how this one plays out. Now, I'd like to close, I guess, with a thank you for the people who make this stream possible. Cheers. I don't hear the ending music credits. I don't sing well. So I'll let you guys go.